There comes a moment in your life when your glow-up becomes impossible for certain people to ignore. You start changing, not just on the outside, but deep within. Your confidence becomes stronger, your standards become higher, your peace becomes more valuable. And suddenly, people who used to smile at you begin looking at you differently. They congratulate you with their lips, but their energy tells another story. They say they are happy for you, yet somehow your success makes them uncomfortable. They may compliment your appearance while secretly criticizing you behind your back. They may celebrate your victories publicly while privately wondering why you are the one receiving the blessings they wanted for themselves. But listen carefully. Your growth did not make them jealous. It revealed what was already inside them. Sometimes God allows you to rise simply so you can see clearly who was genuinely supporting you and who only felt comfortable when you were struggling. Your transformation becomes a mirror, and not everyone likes what they see in it. But you were never called to dim your light so someone else could feel brighter. You were never meant to remain the same person just because others became comfortable with your old version. You have fought battles they never saw, cried tears they never knew about, and rebuilt parts of yourself that nobody helped you repair. So if your glow-up makes certain people uncomfortable, let them be uncomfortable. Keep walking. Keep growing. Keep becoming everything God created you to become. Because the most powerful response to hidden jealousy is not revenge, confrontation, or proving yourself. It is peacefully becoming undeniable. And today, we are going to expose the signs that someone may be secretly jealous of your transformation while smiling directly in your face, so you can recognize the difference between genuine love and disguised envy without losing your peace in the process. There is a powerful truth you must understand when you begin to transform. Not everyone who smiles at your success is genuinely celebrating your success. Some people can stand directly in front of you, congratulate you, compliment your appearance, praise your confidence, and tell you how proud they are, while secretly wrestling with feelings they would never admit out loud. Your glow-up can become a mirror that forces people to confront parts of themselves they have been avoiding. When you were struggling, uncertain, overlooked, or trying to find your way, they may have felt completely comfortable around you. They knew your weaknesses, they knew your disappointments, and perhaps they even became accustomed to seeing you doubt yourself. But something changed. You started believing in yourself. You started carrying yourself differently. You stopped begging for acceptance. You became selective with your time. You stopped explaining every decision. You started protecting your peace. And suddenly, the same people who once felt comfortable around you began acting strangely. Their smiles became different. Their compliments started carrying hidden criticism. Their congratulations sounded forced. Their jokes began containing little insults disguised as humor. And sometimes, you could feel it without them saying a single word. Your spirit recognizes what your eyes may still be trying to understand, but don't misunderstand this message. Not every person who behaves differently is jealous of you. People have their own struggles, insecurities, and circumstances. The wisdom is not to become suspicious of everyone around you. The wisdom is to pay attention to patterns. Genuine people can celebrate your growth without feeling threatened by it. They don't need you to remain small so they can feel significant. They don't compete with your happiness. They don't secretly hope you fail. They don't become cold whenever something good happens to you. Instead, they celebrate you because they understand that your victory does not diminish theirs. Real love says, "I'm happy that you're becoming better." Hidden jealousy says, "Why are you becoming better than before?" That difference can reveal everything. Some people don't miss the old you because they loved you more back then. They miss the version of you they could easily influence, manipulate, criticize, or compare themselves against. Your growth removes their advantage. Your confidence makes their criticism less powerful. Your boundaries make their access more limited. Your peace makes their chaos less effective, and your independence reminds them that you no longer need their approval to feel valuable. Think about the moments when you shared good news and noticed someone's reaction change. Maybe they immediately changed the subject. Maybe they found something negative to say. Maybe they congratulated you but quickly reminded you of someone doing better. Maybe they joked about your success instead of appreciating it. Maybe they suddenly became distant when you started receiving opportunities. These moments can hurt because we naturally expect people close to us to celebrate when we rise. But sometimes your success reveals relationships that were built around your struggle rather than your potential. And that revelation can be painful, but it can also be liberating. You don't have to chase people for validation. You don't have to interrogate them about their feelings. You don't have to expose them publicly. You simply need to observe, protect your heart, and keep moving forward. Your glow-up is bigger than clothes, money, appearance, achievements, or social status. Your real transformation is happening inside you. You are becoming more disciplined. You are learning to say no. You are becoming comfortable walking away from disrespect. You are discovering that silence can be more powerful than arguments. You are realizing that not every battle deserves your energy. You are learning that peace is priceless. And when a person transforms internally, their entire presence begins to change. People notice it. They may not understand it, but they notice it. Suddenly, you don't react the way you used to. You don't explain yourself endlessly. You don't chase people who withdraw. You don't collapse when someone misunderstands you. You simply continue. That kind of transformation can be intimidating to people who benefited from your old insecurity. So don't let somebody else's hidden jealousy make you question your progress. Don't start shrinking because someone became uncomfortable with your confidence. Don't hide your blessings because someone else refuses to celebrate them. You worked through seasons they may never fully understand. You survived moments that could have destroyed your confidence. You kept going when nobody applauded. You rebuilt yourself quietly. And now that your life is beginning to reflect the work you did privately, you have every right to stand tall. But remember, you don't need to become arrogant to become confident. You don't need revenge to prove your value. You don't need to expose every jealous person. Let your character remain clean. Let your heart remain peaceful. Let your results speak. Sometimes the most powerful response to hidden jealousy is simply refusing to participate in it. Wish people well, but maintain healthy boundaries. Celebrate others without comparing yourself to them. Protect your plans until the right time. Stop announcing every move. And above all, remember that your journey was never designed to make everyone comfortable. You were created to grow. You were created to evolve. You were created to become wiser, stronger, and more courageous than the person you used to be. If someone smiles at you while secretly struggling with your success, that is their battle, not yours. Keep your heart pure, keep your vision focused, and keep walking toward the life you were meant to live. Because one day, you will realize that the greatest glow-up wasn't that they finally noticed you. The greatest glow-up was that you finally stopped needing them to. There is a moment in every transformation when you begin to realize that your growth does not only change you, it changes the way people around you respond to you. Some people loved the version of you that was uncertain, available, insecure, and constantly searching for approval. They were comfortable when you questioned yourself because your self-doubt made them feel secure about themselves. They knew how to speak to the old you. They knew how to influence the old you. They knew how to make the old you feel guilty, small, or dependent. But then something happened. You started waking up. You started seeing your value. You stopped accepting every explanation. You stopped chasing people who constantly made you prove your worth. You began protecting your time, your energy, your dreams, and your peace. And suddenly, people who once seemed completely comfortable around you started revealing a different side of themselves. your transformation didn't necessarily change their hearts. It simply gave you enough clarity to finally see what had been there all along. Sometimes your glow-up doesn't create enemies. It exposes hidden intentions. Think about how powerful it is when someone has access to you for years and becomes accustomed to your availability. They can call whenever they want, demand your attention, criticize your decisions, and expect you to tolerate behavior you would never accept from anyone else. But then one day, you decide that enough is enough. You don't respond immediately. You stop explaining yourself. You establish boundaries. You begin saying no without feeling guilty. Suddenly, they accuse you of changing. They say you're acting differently. They may even claim that you've become arrogant. But here's the truth. Sometimes people call your boundaries arrogance because they benefited from your lack of boundaries. Your growth becomes offensive to anyone who preferred your silence. Your confidence becomes uncomfortable to anyone who relied on your insecurity. Your independence becomes threatening to anyone who enjoyed controlling your choices. And that is why your transformation can become such a powerful revelation. Your glow-up also exposes people through their reactions to your victories. When something wonderful happens to you, watch carefully. A genuine friend may become excited, ask questions, encourage you, and celebrate your progress. Someone struggling with jealousy may respond differently. They might immediately minimize your achievement. They might say, "It's not that serious." They might remind you of someone who has accomplished more. They might search for something negative inside your positive moment. They might congratulate you while secretly changing the subject. These reactions don't automatically prove jealousy, but repeated patterns can reveal emotional discomfort. And when you recognize that pattern, you don't have to confront everyone. You don't have to create drama. You don't need to announce that you've figured them out. Sometimes wisdom is simply observing quietly and adjusting your level of trust accordingly. One of the greatest mistakes you can make is believing that everyone deserves unlimited access to your new life. They don't. Growth teaches you that privacy is protection. You don't have to tell everyone what you're building. You don't have to announce every opportunity. You don't need to explain every change. You don't have to reveal every dream before it becomes reality. There are people who genuinely love you, and there are people who simply enjoy having information about you. Learn the difference. Some people ask questions because they care. Others ask questions because they want something to discuss later. Your new season requires discernment. Not everyone needs a front-row seat to your transformation. And perhaps the most beautiful part of this journey is that you don't have to become bitter. Because someone revealed their true intentions. Their behavior can teach you without destroying your heart. You can recognize jealousy without becoming jealous yourself. You can notice competition without competing. You can discover betrayal without becoming a betrayer. You can walk away without hatred. That is real maturity. Your goal is not to punish people for failing to celebrate you. Your goal is to continue becoming the strongest, wisest, most peaceful version of yourself. Remember, your transformation was never about proving somebody wrong. It was about becoming right with yourself. It was about healing what was broken. It was about rebuilding your confidence. It was about discovering that you don't need permission to grow. Maybe they preferred the old you, but you were not created to remain trapped in an old identity just to keep someone else comfortable. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to outgrow relationships. You are allowed to change your standards. You are allowed to protect your peace. So if your glow-up has suddenly revealed strange behavior, don't panic. Don't become obsessed with identifying every jealous person. Don't spend your precious energy studying who clapped and who didn't. Keep your eyes on your purpose. Let your transformation speak for itself. The people who genuinely belong in your life will not require you to become smaller for them to feel bigger. They will celebrate your progress because they understand that your light does not steal theirs. And those who secretly resent your growth will eventually reveal themselves through their patterns. You don't have to expose them. Time will do that for you. Your responsibility is to keep your heart clean, your standards strong, and your vision forward. Because when you finally understand your worth, you stop begging people to recognize it. And that is when your transformation becomes truly unstoppable. There is a hidden battle that happens in the minds of some people when they watch you grow. They begin comparing their life to yours. They may never admit it. They may smile when you walk into the room, congratulate you when something good happens, and tell you how amazing you look. But deep inside, they are measuring themselves against your progress. They look at your confidence and question their own. They see your opportunities and wonder why theirs have not arrived. They notice your peace and remember the chaos they cannot escape. They watch you become disciplined, focused, and selective, and suddenly your transformation becomes a reminder of everything they wish they had changed in themselves. But understand this: their comparison is not your responsibility. You cannot spend your life shrinking your light because someone else is uncomfortable standing beside it. Comparison is one of the easiest ways for genuine happiness to disappear. Instead of appreciating what they have, people begin focusing on what someone else possesses. They see your success but don't see the years of preparation behind it. They see your confidence but don't see the moments when you had to rebuild yourself privately. They see the finished picture but never witnessed the difficult chapters. This is why comparing your journey to another person's journey is so dangerous. Every person has a different starting point, different circumstances, different struggles, different opportunities, and different timing. Someone may look at you and think everything came easily, while you know how many times you had to fight discouragement just to keep moving. People often compare their behind the scenes to somebody else's highlight reel. Sometimes hidden jealousy begins when someone becomes overly focused on your life. They notice everything. They notice what you wear, what you post, where you go, who supports you, what opportunities you receive, and how people respond to you. They may casually ask questions that seem harmless, but over time, you notice how interested they are in measuring your progress. They know your accomplishments, but rarely acknowledge the work behind them. They may even imitate certain things you do while simultaneously criticizing you for doing them. This can be confusing. But remember, imitation and criticism can sometimes come from the same place. Comparison. Someone may admire something about you while simultaneously resenting the fact that you possess it. Not every admirer is an encourager, and not every compliment comes from a peaceful heart. But here's where you must become careful. Do not allow the possibility of someone's jealousy to turn you into a suspicious person. Not everyone who asks questions is jealous. Not everyone who notices your progress is competing with you. Not everyone who becomes quiet is secretly plotting against you. Mature discernment does not assume the worst. It watches patterns. You don't need to accuse people based on one strange reaction. Instead, observe consistency. How do they respond when you win? How do they respond when you struggle? Do they encourage you only when you're beneath them? Do they become distant whenever you receive recognition? Do they constantly compare your achievements with someone else's? Do they celebrate your mistakes more enthusiastically than your victories? Patterns reveal far more than isolated moments, and sometimes the person comparing themselves to you isn't even aware of how deeply they are doing it. They may genuinely care about you while struggling internally with insecurity. They may look at your life and think, why not me? They may not want to hurt you, but their unresolved feelings can still affect their behavior. This is why compassion and boundaries can exist together. You don't have to hate someone because they struggle with comparison, but you also don't have to sacrifice your peace to make them feel better. You can understand someone's insecurity without allowing it to become your burden. Your assignment is not to become smaller. Your assignment is to become healthier. If your success makes someone uncomfortable, let them process that feeling. You don't have to apologize for receiving opportunities. You don't have to hide your happiness. You don't have to pretend your achievements don't matter. Be humble, but don't become invisible. Be kind, but don't become available for disrespect. Celebrate others, but don't abandon yourself in the process. The most powerful thing you can do when someone compares their life to yours is refuse to compare yourself to them. Their house may be different. Their career may be different. Their relationships may be different. Their timeline may be different. None of that determines your value. Your journey has its own rhythm. Your progress has its own meaning. Your story has chapters that cannot be duplicated by anybody else. You are not late because someone else arrived earlier. You are not behind because someone else is ahead. So keep building. Keep learning. Keep improving. Keep becoming the person you know you can be. Let your confidence come from character, not applause. Let your happiness come from purpose, not comparison. And if someone secretly measures their life against yours, don't become distracted by their scoreboard. You don't even need to know where you stand on it. Your life is not a competition. Your glow-up is not a race. Your greatest victory is becoming more fulfilled, more peaceful, more disciplined, and more authentic than you were yesterday. When you stop competing with people who are competing with you, you become free. And that freedom is a glow-up nobody can fake, steal, imitate, or destroy. There comes a point in your transformation when you have to stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You changed, and they noticed. You became quieter, wiser, more disciplined, more selective, and more protective of your peace. You stopped reacting to every comment, stopped chasing every relationship, and stopped giving everyone access to your private world. Yet, instead of celebrating your growth, some people may question it. They may say, "Why are you acting different?" They may accuse you of becoming arrogant, distant, selfish, or too proud. But sometimes what they call a negative change is simply the visible evidence of an internal transformation. You don't owe everyone an explanation for becoming healthier, stronger, and wiser. For years, you may have been conditioned to explain every decision you made. You explained why you needed space. You explained why you couldn't help someone. You explained why you changed your priorities. You explained why you walked away from certain situations. You explained why you no longer tolerated disrespect. But eventually, you discovered something powerful. People who genuinely respect you don't require a courtroom presentation every time you make a decision. They may not always agree with you, but they can respect your right to choose. The people who constantly demand explanations may not actually be searching for understanding. Sometimes they are searching for an opening to argue with your decision. They want you to become exhausted defending your boundaries until you eventually surrender them. That is why learning to say less can become one of the greatest signs of maturity. Your glow-up becomes powerful when you stop trying to convince everyone that you deserve the life you're building. Think about how much energy is wasted trying to prove your intentions to people who have already decided what they want to believe. You can be kind, and someone will call you weak. You can become confident, and someone will call you arrogant. You can become private, and someone will call you secretive. You can become successful, and someone will say you got lucky. You can establish boundaries, and someone will accuse you of changing. If you live according to every interpretation people create about you, you will spend your entire life performing for an audience that can never be satisfied. Your responsibility is not to control their opinions. Your responsibility is to control your character. There is also a difference between humility and self-erasure. Humility does not mean pretending you have accomplished nothing. Humility does not require you to hide your gifts. Humility means you understand that your blessings do not make you superior to others. You can remain humble while celebrating your progress. You can acknowledge how far you've come without looking down on anyone. You can walk confidently without stepping on somebody else. The goal isn't to become arrogant because people underestimated you. The goal is to become so secure in yourself that their opinions no longer control your emotional state. And this is where many people misunderstand the real meaning of a glow-up. A glow-up is not simply a new appearance. It is a new relationship with yourself. You begin to understand that your time matters. Your attention matters. Your peace matters. Your mental space matters. Your future matters. You stop allowing people to repeatedly disturb what you worked so hard to rebuild. You begin asking yourself different questions. Instead of asking, will they approve? You ask, is this right for me? Instead of asking, will they understand? You ask, does this align with my values? Instead of asking, what will they think? You ask, what will this decision produce in my life? That shift is real growth. When people don't understand your transformation, don't immediately assume you must return to your old self. Sometimes people only understand the version of you they benefited from. They understood when you were always available. They understood when you never said no. They understood when you tolerated disrespect. They understood when you stayed silent to keep the peace. But now you've learned that peace without boundaries is not always peace. Sometimes it is exhaustion disguised as kindness. Your new boundaries may confuse people because they have never experienced this version of you. Let them adjust. You don't have to announce every boundary. You don't have to threaten people with your departure. You don't have to make dramatic declarations about your new life. Simply live differently. Let your actions communicate what your words no longer need to explain. If someone repeatedly disrespects your boundaries, distance yourself. If someone consistently minimizes your accomplishments, stop seeking their validation. If someone only appears when they need something, recognize the pattern. And if someone genuinely loves you but needs time to understand your changes, give them room to adjust while maintaining your standards. Your glow-up should bring you closer to authenticity, not performance. Don't become a different person just to prove something to the people who doubted you. Become a better version of yourself because you deserve that growth. Let your success be peaceful. Let your confidence be quiet. Let your boundaries be firm. Let your life become the answer to questions you no longer feel obligated to answer. The moment you stop explaining your worth is the moment you begin living from it. And when you reach that level of confidence, hidden jealousy loses its power over you because you are no longer looking around for approval. You are looking forward. You are building, you are healing, you are becoming. And the people who truly belong in your next chapter won't demand that you shrink to make them comfortable. They will respect the person you have worked so hard to become. There is a moment in your journey when you look at yourself and realize, I am not the person I used to be. Not because you became perfect, but because you survived enough to understand your value. You walked through seasons that tested your patience, your confidence, your faith, and your ability to keep moving when nobody was applauding. There were moments when you probably wondered whether things would ever change, whether the people who hurt you would ever understand what they had done, and whether your life would ever look different. But something happened quietly. You kept going. You learned. You healed. You became wiser. You stopped allowing every opinion to determine how you felt about yourself. And eventually, your transformation became visible. The greatest part of your glow-up is not that the people who doubted you finally noticed. The greatest part is that you no longer need them to notice. Your old life may have been built around seeking approval. You may have spent years trying to make everyone happy, trying to prove that you were good enough, loyal enough, successful enough, attractive enough, or worthy enough to be respected. You may have tolerated conversations that drained you because you were afraid of being misunderstood. You may have remained in situations that made you unhappy because you were afraid of what people would say if you walked away. But growth changes your priorities. You begin to understand that you cannot build a peaceful life while constantly asking everyone else for permission to live it. Your life belongs to you. Your future belongs to you. Your choices belong to you. And when you finally understand that, something inside you becomes incredibly difficult to control. This is why your transformation can shock people who knew your former self. They remember the person who used to react immediately, but now you pause. They remember the person who used to chase people for answers, but now you accept silence. They remember the person who tolerated disrespect, but now you walk away. They remember the person who constantly explained themselves, but now you simply make your decision and move forward. They remember your insecurity, but now they see confidence. They remember your desperation for acceptance, but now they see contentment. They may be looking at the same face, but they are encountering a completely different mindset. And this is where your greatest victory begins. You stop living for revenge. You stop imagining the moment when everyone who doubted you will finally admit they were wrong. You stop waiting for apologies. You stop checking who is watching your progress. You stop wondering whether the people who hurt you are jealous of your success. Why? Because you finally realize that their reaction is no longer the measurement of your worth. You don't need their regret to validate your pain. You don't need their jealousy to validate your progress. You don't need their apology to validate your healing. You have already won the moment you refused to let their behavior define your future. Your glow-up becomes even more powerful when you understand that success without peace is not true success. You can have attention and still feel empty. You can have money and still feel insecure. You can look incredible and still struggle to love yourself. The deepest transformation happens when your external life begins to reflect your internal healing. You become comfortable with yourself. You stop comparing your timeline with everyone else's. You celebrate progress instead of perfection. You become grateful for what you have while continuing to work toward what you desire. You stop competing with people who were never running your race. And yes, some people may become uncomfortable with this version of you. Some may secretly wish you would return to the person they could easily influence. Some may criticize your boundaries. Some may call your confidence arrogance. Some may say you've changed, and your answer can simply be, yes, I changed. Because change is not always something to fear. Sometimes change is evidence that you listened to the lessons life was trying to teach you. You changed because you learned. You changed because you healed. You changed because you finally recognized patterns that were damaging you. You changed because remaining the same was costing you too much. But don't allow your glow-up to make your heart hard. The goal isn't to become cold because people disappointed you. The goal is to become wise without losing your kindness. You can forgive without reopening every door. You can love people from a distance. You can wish someone well without giving them access to your life. You can remember the past without living inside it. You can acknowledge what happened without allowing it to control who you become. Healing doesn't mean forgetting everything. It means refusing to let yesterday dictate tomorrow. So if people are secretly jealous of your glow-up, let them have their feelings. You don't need to investigate every smile or decode every reaction. Keep your focus on your purpose. Keep becoming. Keep improving. Keep protecting your peace. Let your life become quieter, stronger, and more meaningful. Let your confidence come from knowing who you are rather than from being admired by others. Let your character remain stronger than the criticism around you. And when you look back one day, you may realize that the greatest victory was never making your doubters jealous. It was becoming someone your old self would be proud to meet. You are not here to remain who you were. You are here to grow. You are here to become wiser, stronger, more peaceful, and more intentional. Your transformation does not need everyone's approval. Your journey does not require everyone's understanding. Your future does not need permission from your past. Keep walking forward. Let the old version of you rest. Let the new version of you rise. And when the people who once underestimated you finally notice the difference, don't waste your energy saying, "I told you so." Just smile, stay humble, and keep moving. Because the most beautiful revenge is not watching them regret losing you. It is realizing that you no longer need to be seen by them at all.